It is time for the underdog, Robert. Who is our underdog today?
We are going to Georgia, to Batumi. And when we hear Batumi, we know that there is probably a female event going on. And it's this time the European individual tournament. A lot of top players are participating and a lot of interesting games to discuss. But
Okay.
we have one very nice one. Played in the fourth round, game between
Oh, I would
Pauline.
have actually assumed one in the first round is our
Yeah,
underdog
that's
normally.
that's a good point. Normally those upsets they take place in the earlier rounds, but we have a very special player this time. It's Polina Kobak. She's rated 1986. I think she is 18 years old, and well, she is playing against Stavroula Tsolakidou, who is one of the pre-tournament favorites. It's fair to say she's a very experienced player, international master, rated 2455, so almost 500 rating points difference.
Gee.
And well, this is interesting. One player is having a great tournament so far, and the other one is struggling. And then you still get these kind of interesting battles with quite a big elo difference in
Yes,
round four.
I have to quickly mention Stavrola is one of the nicest people. She's always so lovely and kind and very polite, and it's always a lot of fun to talk with her. I had interviews with her. I had a Blitz tournament where she was participating against some random players, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, and as you mentioned already, she's actually one of the best female players in the world. I think she's in the top 20 at least, something like that, or
Or
top.
close. I'm not
Yeah,
really sure, but
yeah.
she's really strong.
Yeah, and exactly. She's really strong. That's true. She's an international master, and she has beaten like the elite of so many females already, also rated more points than her. So she could have been an underdog at one point as well. But now she's that good that she is actually the definite, clear favorite in this game, and she desperately needs to come back because she didn't have the best tournament so far.
Yeah, she was really struggling quite a bit. I think she lost even in the previous round, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But it should be said that Polina Kobak, she had a really great run until now.
Exactly.
I think she won her first two games also against players rated 300 points higher than her.
Yeah.
And yeah, this can happen if you're having the right flow and your opponent is not in the best shape, then these rating differences they get closer to each other.
And now you have to come back with black as well. So what did Polina play as white?
Let's have a look at the game.
Yeah.
And the opening is interesting, middle game is interesting, but there are some very special things happening later on as well.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure we will discuss one particular moment in greater depth. But let's start with the move one d4, knight of six, c4, g6, knight c3, bishop g7. It's a King's Indian. True fighters opening. I think this is something Stavula has played quite a bit. Um, Bishop e2, castling kingside, and now bishop g5. This is the Averbach system, very popular system, which has been developed by a legendary Russian grandmaster who died away a few years ago. I think he was 100 years old even.
Yes, yes, yes.
But in his time, he was actually a very strong theoretician. He really contributed to development of a lot of different openings and also to this particular line in the King's Indian. Um, Knight a6 is one of the main moves. And after queen d2, well, normally what you do as black in these kind of systems is a quick e5, so that you're contesting that pawn on d4 and trying to get your knight to c5 very soon. That's the kind of standard plan, I would say. Stavula played here first the move queen e8. Probably she wants to avoid possible exchange of queens on the d file if you play e5 too early, and she's going to prepare it in this way. But now look at this. h4 was played, and okay, this has been seen in a few games, but it's not very well known.
Okay.
And well, the question is how to react to such a flank attack at an early stage. What are your thoughts, Arne?
I think I've seen a system like this or an idea like this a couple of times, and H4 is just, in my opinion, unpleasant. And this is also the reason why I play it against a system like this
Yeah,
often
yeah, okay.
enough. Um, I mean, I think the most common answer is h5 to stop
Which
the pawn.
it was played in the game, but it will lead to some weaknesses later on as well. It's
Hmm.
gonna play a big role later on. The best thing you should actually play here with black, and the engines are really critical of black's move h5. You better play e5 here and try to strike back in the center first. And the point is that if white's going to advance the pawn, which is the thematical response, and black goes knight c5, attacking the pawn on e4 for the second time, then white normally would like to play here the move f3. And if white gets the time, white will definitely follow up with these kind of moves, g4 and h5 with a crushing attack. But having not played the move h5 here as black gives black the additional option to play knight h5 here yourself. And that is a very important resource because you have a lot of ideas, first of all, to come into g3, which is rather annoying, but you can
Hmm.
also try to generate counterplay with the move f5, which is what the King's Indian player usually likes to do. And here,
Oh,
I would say this is kind of a pleasant position for black. It's still a fight, of course, but black gets quite a bit of counterplay.
interesting. Some good opening knowledge here. Okay, yeah, I
Let's have a look.
didn't
Yeah,
consider
but
this.
let's see what happens
Yeah.
at. This is something you have to know, of course, if you play it. But probably both players were around this point out of book. Black played h5 as said, white plays f3, and well, now setups with e5 they can be met by d5, and this pawn on h5 is usually sort of a hook, so you can get in g4 very quickly. And yeah, I'm not sure. I feel that black's position is a bit cramped. But interestingly, and this is already a clear sign that Stavroula is not in her best shape, because she played here this move c5, which is a typical move, but usually it's not a great combination with the move knight a6. The knight would like to use that c5 square, and therefore the typical response for white here is to close the center with d5. And here this knight on a6, it's not that well placed.
Mm.
It can go back to c7, which was played in the game. Um, but yeah, I don't think this is a great setup, as we will see. Black in the game will struggle quite a bit
Can I
getting.
quickly ask, because I've seen this very recently, what about the idea, this awkward move, knight b8, like really stupidly going back, but then knight d7, knight e5?
Yeah, but then it's something you should have done without playing knight a6. Yeah, yeah. No, that's
That's
actually a
true.
very common
That's
idea, but
true.
you're spending two extra moves
Yeah,
on getting your knight to the square where it
it
belongs.
it
And
might be a bit too much. You're right. Okay, okay.
yeah. So yeah, well, let's see what happens. So knight c7, knight h3. That's the common way to develop the knight. It's probably intending to go to f2 or perhaps even f4 at some point.
Hmm.
And now, interesting moment. Black can think about giving up that bishop so that white can no longer castle kingside. On the other hand, that light squared bishop of black is usually one of its better pieces. So that's a tough call. Hard to say what is best. In any case, in the game, Stavroula played here b5 and is trying to change the game more into some sort of Benko Gambit type of
Uh-huh.
structure, which is a very common approach in a lot of King's Indian lines. So white captures the pawn. The pawn is well defended by both the bishop and the knight, and black goes a6. And here, like in the Benko Gambit, white needs to decide what to do with that pawn on b5. A lot of people they are always afraid to capture, as black will usually get a bit of compensation playing on the half open files on the queen side. So they can decline that offer with a move like b6, but probably the pawn can be regained at some point as well. In the game, Polina played here pawn takes a6, bishop takes a6, and now look at this. Now we are getting some interesting phase of the game. Bishop h6. You can see that white would like probably to exchange the bishops and remove an important defender of the black king. What would you do here with black Arne? You have any ideas on?
Well, I wouldn't take back. That's to start with, because I would be scared of the queen and then the knight going to g5. I dislike this a lot.
This is very interesting because it's actually probably the best move for black, but it's again it's a very difficult move to play. The point is that let's say after taking on h6, queen takes back. You're going to swap bishops on e2. White's going to take back probably with a knight. Yes, it does look dangerous, but let's say black can get the queen to b5, put a bit of pressure here. There is counterplay. You can put your knight on g5, but as long as the knight is on f6, mate is covered, and it's not that simple to remove that knight. Yeah,
Not only that, an absolute horrible worst case scenario. You can just get the other knight to e8 and just take back with whatever you take this knight with.
interesting. So there are quite a number of defenders, and
Wow.
apparently the best thing what white need to do here is probably to come back with a queen to d2,
Oof.
and
Okay.
that is not something you were
No,
really
you don't
planning
want to
to
commit
play.
to that. No.
So, but it's a difficult move. It was not played by black, and instead black just brought her queen to the b file, a typical Benko move. But now white captures on g7, and white's queen is still nicely placed in the center, defending the queen side, especially the pawn on b2.
Okay.
Knight f4, knight is coming into play. Queen b6, activating the queen a bit. White goes b3. It's also one of the advantages having exchanged that dark squared bishop is that there's no
Yep.
longer any pressure on that diagonal. Black captured on e2. White recaptures with the f knight. And after knight d7, uh, white decided here to castle. What is important to know that the king is kind of safe here, of course, and black cannot really take advantage of the weakened diagonal. Like a move like c4 can be met by queen d4, and white forces the exchange of queens and will still be a pawn up.
And
Very
has
helpful.
this beautiful knight on c6 very soon.
Yeah, also that. So this is something you definitely need to
Mm.
avoid as black. Instead, knight e5 was played in the game. White moves the king to a safer spot, and knight b5 played. What do you think about the possible exchange of knights? Is it something you would go for here as white or not? Would you
Well,
keep knights on the board?
well, so now that you're mentioning this, and I already took a couple of wrong decisions when you were asking me questions
Sorry,
in
I
this
asked you
game.
too many questions today.
No, no,
Yeah,
no, it's totally fine. I mean, that's part of this series.
yeah.
Would I exchange knights? Such a
It's
good
more an
question.
intuitive decision, I would say.
Yeah. So here's my thought process. I would say I would try to swap a lot of pieces because I believe that the more pieces I swap, the stronger the A and B pawn can get, which are quite open.
I understand your fault, and it's a typical. No, it's probably what most people think. It's just though in these kind of Benko positions with the extra pawns, the pawns are not running that fast, and Black would like to exchange minor pieces usually and keep some major pieces on the board because these major pieces they can become quite active and eventually try to put some pressure by blocking the pawns or possibly even try to work sideways. Um, it's not bad. Like you can definitely take on b5. It's not that I was asking for a good or a
Okay.
bad answer. It's more a matter of taste actually. I think what happened in the game it's quite interesting though. Like white played knight a4. It looks like kind of weird to put a knight at the side of the board, but okay, you're attacking the queen. Um,
Ah, I see a little plan.
what do you
Getting
think?
the
What
knight to b2 and then taking on c5 if nobody else is protecting.
sorry, knight take capture on c5, you mean? Or
Yeah, if the queen goes, like, say, to b7, I don't know, and the queen goes to b2,
sorry,
and
the
then
white queen
there's, yeah,
goes to
it's a
b2.
little
You're
tiny,
you're
tiny
trying to set
tactic.
up some pressures. Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Also, I
Interesting.
mean, after queen going to b2, we always have f4 if I,
That's definitely an idea,
yeah.
exactly. So the only problem is that the moment you put a queen on b2 and black deals with the threat, your queen is a bit further away from where it wants to be. It wants to actually join some attacking play
Mm.
later on the king side. Let's have a look. Black went here for queen a7. Maybe not the best move actually. But the plan is probably to get in c4 and try to remove that pawn on b3, put some pressure there. That is the sort of counterplay black is aiming for. But white played an excellent move here. Really nice idea to stop that pawn push with the move knight to b2. So you're controlling the c4 square one more time. Black played queen a5 now, offering the exchange of queens. But another question for you, Arne, and the viewers. Exchanging or not?
In this case, no, because my queen now has this diagonal on g5 or f4 or something like that. I think it's much more active than the black queen. Black desperately wants to exchange queens, and I would just keep them on the board.
Interestingly, again, both options are quite
Oh.
interesting. You look, one idea. If you exchange queens, which was not played in the game, you can take back and then you push the pawn to a4. You kick the first knight away. The knight goes to c7. You kick the other knight away, goes, for instance, to g4, and you're activating your knight to c4. And you see that white is advancing a bit on the queen side, and the extra pawn may start to tell. So definitely, white is in control and clearly better.
Oh, wow.
But I think I agree with you, and Polina also had some other ideas because she kept queens on the board. She played queen g5, putting a bit of pressure on the queen side, perhaps attacking also the pawn on e7. But now queen b4 was played. If you would take that pawn on e7, what do you think is gonna happen then? It was not played in the game, and it's probably
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
move.
So
Can you see
now I have to. This is very interesting. I mean, can the queen just go to d2?
d2, and it is a double attack. Both knights are unprotected. So I think this is not the moment to capture the pawn. And white first needs to do something about one of those knights, so that queen takes e7 becomes a threat. And the knight went here to f4.
Yeah,
Excellent move.
there's already a threat. Yeah,
Yeah, what is the threat here?
taking on h5.
Taking on h5. That's an additional threat indeed. So what's black gonna play now?
What does black do here? Oh dear. Rook h8.
Rook h8, but then the pawn on e7 can be taken,
True.
and then you will be 2 pawns down.
So what to do here? Ah, is it just f6? Yeah, sorry.
F6 could be played, but then the problem is
Check.
knight e6. The knight is coming in here,
Or is it a
and
problem? Yeah, it's a problem. The
yeah,
knight in there is powerful.
it's really annoying. There are a lot of weaknesses. Even if you're not winning material, the knight is just fantastically placed here, being supported by the pawn. So that looks actually quite bad. Instead of f6, black played here this move, king h7, and now if you would take the pawn on e7 again, we shouldn't be too greedy probably, because what can black play here? Again, similar theme from the
It's a
previous line.
double attack.
It's basically still the same double attack,
Yeah.
with the queen hitting both knights. So we're looking at a pawn, but we should not take it. So what white did here is a very clever idea. White moved the passive knight away from b2 to c4.
Oh,
Trying
pawn
to...
sacrifice.
Well, not really. You're already up a pawn.
Yeah.
The pawn was actually captured by black. Knight takes c4, b takes c4, queen takes c4. But now you can take the pawn on e7. And white is still 1 pawn up. And that pawn, it can be captured by the rook, but at the end of the day, the rook on f8 will still be hanging. So that's not a good idea. Black played rook a e8 to chase the queen away. And here, a remarkable moment in the game, Arne. Let's have a look. This is the moment we should have some discussion about, because white played here queen d7, rook d8, queen e7, rook d e8,
Oh.
queen d7, rook d8, queen e7, and now black played here the move rook d e8. And this is the moment we reach for the third time the same position, so threefold repetition. Black could have claimed a draw, but didn't do it. So what is the mind games going on here? Black must know that she is in a much worse position, right? You're pawn down. There's not like clear compensation, but you're not offering or claiming the draw. At least not claiming the draw.
Yeah.
But okay, you're like 500 points higher rated, yeah? So what to do? You don't want to make a draw. You want to keep the game going. But what would you do here as white? Would you claim yourself a draw, or would you keep the game going? What do you think?
Well, look, I personally, if I would play against Stavroula,
Yeah, yeah.
I would take the draw, say thank you so much. It was a great game, and I would tell everybody that I drew against Stavroula Tsolakidou and be happy as can be. I mean, I think there was always like some more fighting spirit back then. And I would go like, ah, come on, I just want to have fun, and I feel like I have a better position. I want to play it out. But nowadays
Well,
I'm a
it
bit more
depends, but
realistic.
I understand, and that's what you usually do, maybe against somebody 100 or maybe 200 points difference. But
Yeah,
500 points difference,
yeah.
I have not seen that many examples where the underdog, after avoiding that free-for-all repetition, continues the game. White decided to continue here with this move Queen G5, which is objectively speaking the best move. And well, it's very understandable, of course, but still a very brave decision considering the rating difference, I would say.
Unbelievable, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So this, yeah. I hope Stavroula is okay. Maybe she looks a bit tired, or like really like there's hay fever, or I don't know what. But maybe she was just like, please let it end. Let's have a draw. But then she could have claimed it
But then she could
herself.
have claimed. She could
Yeah,
have
you're
claimed
right. You're right.
herself.
You're right. You're right.
This position with the move Rook DE8 happened for the third time. So before making
Wow.
the move, I mean, she could have made that official claim.
True.
But okay, she also didn't want to draw apparently.
That
If
is
she wanted
super
to get out of it,
interesting.
she would probably still have done it, or she believed that the rating difference or the difference in strength would start to tell later on. I mean,
Yep.
usually the
Yep.
difference in the game is it's seen later at a later stage.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
Interesting.
let's see. Knight c3 played a4, queen d4, and white is just starting to push the a pawn. Black played c4, hoping the c pawn can make some contribution to the game as well.
Oh, that looks
a6.
scary.
Knight goes back to cover that square one more time. But now rook ab1 is an excellent move to tickle the knight. If the knight is going to move, then there will follow rook b7. And the rook can support the pawn from the side, but it will also eye the black king via the seventh
Oh,
rank.
oh yeah.
And
Nice
we
check on G6.
check on d6. The f pawn is pinned in that case. So you cannot really allow that. Black played queen c5, trying to hold the queen side together. And now, what do you think? What would you play here with white?
Poof, what would I play here with white? Well, I'd love to get my knight to f6, but I cannot really.
Well, what you can do is take on h5, actually, and then after g takes, queen takes, it's going to be a repetition, right? Anyway,
Yeah.
but that's not what white had in mind.
No, no. Both apparently wanted to keep on playing. Okay, so no, that doesn't work, does it? So I wonder, I have to calculate. No, it doesn't work. No, no, no. I was thinking about taking on b5, rook a1, and then pushing the pawn through, but it takes too long.
Well, there are still two defenders on the back
Yes,
rank,
yes,
covering the
yes.
promotion square. So don't do it in a too wild manner.
Yeah.
There
So
are
what
some other ideas. Yeah.
can I just no, I have to. I'm interested. Interesting that I cannot find any clear solution. Is it just rook a1 maybe? I don't know. No, it doesn't
You're not
make
making too
sense.
much progress. Actually, the pawn on a6, it kind of deflected a bit the knight and the queen. They are no longer really helping in the center and on the king
Oh,
side.
you know what? I'm playing g4.
G4, let's do it. Yes. Fantastic idea. Just making use of that weakened king side
Yeah, I
of
didn't
black.
even know why I didn't think about this earlier. Yeah,
Pawn takes
that's
G4.
that's a move I would always do.
Yeah. Well, that's why you have your rating, Arne. Yeah. Well, this is the right moment. This is fantastically timed by White, opening up the king side because there are not that many defenders. After h6, g4, h5, putting pressure against the pawn on g6. And if black would take that pawn, which was not played in the game, you can simply take, give another check to force the king back to the h file, and then
Rook
just simple
b2.
move. Bring a rook to the h file. Rook b2 is a cute way to finish off the game. This is leading to checkmate next. So black cannot take on h5. Played instead the move rook h8. Interesting idea. The idea is that after taking on g6, it's not to take back, of course, because that is just checkmate in one. But you can play here king g7 and make a counter check.
G6. Oh, you can play G6 because the knight cannot go to E6 with a beautiful fork because we can just take.
F6, you mean? Or
Yeah, F6, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. That is true. But wait a second. First, you need to solve the check, right? So
Yeah, wait, so king goes, I don't know,
king
there's only
g2,
G2, yeah.
king g2, yeah.
And now I thought
And
of F6.
f6, attacking the queen, but the queen is probably just gonna take on g4.
Or even worse, the knight goes to H5 check.
Also good, yeah.
Okay, I
Also
was
good.
wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
But anyway, black's position is already
It's horrible, yeah.
quite desperate. So black tried here rook e5, another way to set up a counterattack against the queen. And well, queen just captured the pawn on g4. And we can also do the material count here at some point. I mean, I think we are up a couple of pawns, 2 pawns at least, but more importantly, the attack is still ongoing, and we are
Yeah.
threatening to take on f7 to open the g file.
Can I try one last tactic? Not the queen going to G5, but instead the pawn taking on F7 with check.
But you're losing your queen.
That doesn't matter. Knight E6 check.
You're looking for gallery play. You're that kind of person, yeah? I would never have thought about it, Arne. Sorry. Yeah.
I'm sorry too. So I thought I can win
Yeah.
the knight, but I'm losing my
Everything is
knight.
hanging here.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. It could be that maybe you're still winning in the endgame somehow, because after taking on c5, the knight on b5 is loose as well. But look at this. The question is who is attacking here? White's queen is way more threatening than the black queen. So
Yeah.
I think white shouldn't really want to exchange queens.
I
Captured on g4,
apologize. Yes.
much better technique.
Yes.
Black tried f5. Otherwise, okay, as I said, g takes f7 was a threat. So black wants to keep the g file closed, and the king can, for now, hide behind that g pawn. But well, simple move. Queen g5 is
Yeah.
one good idea. If you take on e4, this is maybe a question I can still ask you, Arne.
So
and
now I take the rook.
now the tactic works exactly. You can take on e5, pawn takes, and then knight e6. And here, after winning the queen, you're up a full rook. So that's very convincing.
Hopeless.
And instead of taking on e4, okay, we're getting to the final moves of the game. Black tried c3. But how do you give your attack some new energy, some new impulse? What would you play here?
I mean, I'm also just thinking about, can I not just take on F5 because
Yeah.
F5 is, for example, it should work even with the threat of knight E6.
Yeah, probably that's a good move actually. Yeah, there are probably too many good moves. Probably knight h5 is also a good move.
Yeah.
But in the game, instead of these options, there followed the move rook h1. I like this move the most because you actually bring a new attacking piece into the attack, and you're removing one of the main defenders still. You're trying to exchange the rook. When the rook is no longer there, let's say black is going to take, you can just infiltrate with queen and rook, and that is just going to lead to mate within a few moves. And in case black is going to take e4, There are various options again. I analyzed this option with knight e6 check. The trick is that, and this is a fun line, if you eliminate that knight, don't take with the pawn because you're going to lose your queen. But the point is that the white queen at this moment is not under attack by the rook any longer. And you can even finish it off with this move, rook h7. And after taking, g takes h7, it's just hopeless. The pawn is going to be promoted. Now, in case you take the pawn, okay, there's rook h1 with mate again.
Yeah, and rook g6 doesn't work either because the check of h8.
H8 queen was always there, yeah. So I mean, there were many ways to win the game, but I thought it was a very nice game by Polina, and she made use of her extra pawn. Not that the a pawn eventually was decisive, but it was a kind of a tool to distract the black forces quite a bit. And yeah, most importantly, okay, white exploited the weaknesses on the king side, being provoked at an early stage, yeah, with these moves h4, h5. That played actually a big role for the outcome of the game.
Wow. Poor Stavroula. I hope she can come back in the rest of the tournament. Probably you've already seen her rise.
Yeah. Yeah, and what I want to mention also, let's not forget it, Polina, at the moment of we make this recording, she's on 3 out of 4. And well, with a rating of 1986, she is already winning 98 rating points. I was thinking if this continues, probably at the end of the tournament, she could easily gain 300 rating points. But that is, of course,
Yeah.
a little bit too far ahead. I don't want to jinx anything. But yeah, it's quite a remarkable performance.
Yes, congrats to her, and she'll transform into an overdog if that continues. Okay, well, Robert, thank you so much for this analysis. Very interesting game indeed, and thank you everybody for watching. We see each other to the next episode of The Underdog soon.
All right, see you.